Hi. Since this is a diary about a father as well as a son, I thought I would just talk a little bit about what it means to me to be a parent. Excuse me, I'm going to pull it together. I entered parenthood reluctantly. I don't want to be vague or cryptic about it. I just was surprised how it happened and wasn't ready. Was heading in another direction, and I had to alter my course pretty severely in my case. But I had a lot of things, wrong with me at that time. I think I was 25. I didn't want to live like so many of my San Francisco contemporaries who had no money and kids, where they were living from rental to rental, picking up whatever work they could, trying to be artists, and kind of living in squalor. Just dirt and unhappiness, because when people have money problems, they fight. I saw this a lot, and a lot of the people weren't married or were married and were resenting it, because then the rest of their lives they're just that, with just them. And at 25 years old, that's not a very inspiring prospect to some people, especially when a pregnancy happens soon into a relationship where you don't even know somebody. And it's both persons' faults, or shall we say responsibility. It's not one or the other if they both, did it. Be that all as it may, I reached a point in myself where I was not going to blame but embrace what beautiful thing happened to me, which is my 2 children. And although they came to me inside of a relationship that I feel that we didn't think through or feel through, or I had no skills really. I mentioned this before. I really hope people will understand that you should go get an education and a set of skills before you have kids, because it's so hard to have kids alone, and it does really take both parents full time if it's a good thing. You can survive bad situations, but if you want a good thing, you have to be involved. And that's really hard if you hate your job and you're making only a fraction of what you could be and what you need to be. So I felt very unprepared. And I'm a very entrepreneurial person. I would come up with businesses, so I taught music in a place right away. I was doing that, and that lasted like 3 or 4 years. I painted, which I knew how to do because I learned in high school. And painting houses, I can paint very nicely. I could make a lot of money. But it's, anybody who knows how to or does that, it's that takes up all your time. I wanted to perform. I wanted to be playing in challenging situations and creating my own music. It was always my kind of primary drive. That was what was behind everything. So I did decide at a point that I wasn't going to make any more excuses, because I did for a long time, that I was abused, and I was, or I can't because of, and then layer on the list. And I found that I could do most of the things that I purported to wish for. I could do most of them. And even today I thought about that, like this death has really fucked up my desire to perform. Although I am gigging, like I'm playing tonight in a beautiful kind of circumstance, solo guitar with a violin. So I play, but I haven't been able to like perform my own music, and largely because it has a lot of comedy, and it's very happy. And that's just like, the thought of doing that is just ridiculous to me. And I don't know what I'm going to do about that, because I don't want to give up my own life, because Forrest gave up his life. But it's hard to live it happily, I'm really grateful for things, but yeah, and I'm happy about some things. It's hard to explain. It's just a disbelief and all that. So I decided to go to school, move back to be closer to my children's needs, which was their school. And I just put my head down. When I was in college at the university in the Bronx, and it took me 6 years to get my dual degree, it was hard. I got into it after about 2 years, and then was really into it for maybe 2.5 more years, and then you just want to finish, and it was hard. But I learned how to learn. I learned how to respond to curriculums and syllabi, if you will, like teacher says, I want this course is about these 20 ideas, and I started looking at those things before I even took the course, and already was able. So I learned how academia worked, and then worked it. I never had a restriction in my mind happen inside my academic experience. I let it all hang out. studied with some of the best people in the world, in the world, in their fields, who teach for CUNY. So I'm very grateful. And after that, I was able to get significant work where I was able to apply my crazy creativity to stuff so that I could, share it with people. And I don't want to say sell it, but I got hired. I worked as an actor for 7 years and a composer for many years. And now I'm just kind of jazz composing, like writing heads. They're like haikus, kind of bebopish heads. And man, Forrest and I played that stuff together. This was my dream. Yeah, this last year I was like, this was my dream coming together. And we would often speak of how beautiful that was. I love my kids so much. And if anything, I just give them that. I give them my real love, my honesty, my reliability, my intelligence, and my ears. My daughter is a big reason I'm, gonna work it out. Because I'm not the only, person who's felt like life is meaningless after losing a child. And some of the people I've met lost their only child. Can you imagine? Sorry, I said I wasn't going to get emotional. Every day is just a different page. But I don't know if you get further. In time, I get further from his death. But the missing, the pain, it's like you're just turning around an animal, and discovering more of it. I really don't know what any of this is for.